Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Monday Project call. It is October 7th, our first meeting of October. We've got an exciting meeting for you today. We're going to open, as is customary here, with Friends of Mozilla. These are people who have gone above and beyond the call of duty in the last week or reasonably approximate of that. We want to start by, from me, a thank you to the AV team that supports this meeting, coordinating all the offices and speakers and generally providing great video experience for all of you is a big task, and they do it week in and week out without fail. So thank you to the AV team. Next up, the add-ons team is pleased to recognize BJ Herbison, our newest friend of add-ons. BJ's contributions as an add-on content reviewer have helped us quickly reject spam submissions from addons.mozilla.org and ensure that listings abide by the Mozilla Acceptable Use Policy. Thanks for all your help in keeping the ecosystem safe and healthy, BJ. Big round of applause for BJ Herbison. And with that, we will move on to this week's upcoming events. Wednesday, October 9th at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, we have the add-ons community meeting. You can see the wiki for call-in information. On Thursday, October 10th, we have the return of the ET Speaker Series. The Speaker Series presents this week Kate Starbird of the University of Washington with the topic Beyond Bots and Trolls, Understanding Disinformation as Collaborative Work. This happens at 10 a.m. Pacific time in the Mountain View office and will be broadcast to Air Mozilla and YouTube. In this talk, Kate Starbird argues that defending against strategic information operations will require moving beyond focusing on bots and trolls to look at the collaborative nature of disinformation campaigns that target, infiltrate, shape, and leverage online communities. Mozilla employees have received an invite. Check your inbox. This talk is also open to the public. So please join us October 10th, Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And with that, we will move to our speaker section. First up this week is Andrew Krug coming to us with the IT Minute. Take it away, Andrew.
It's time for the Weekly Minute Update, where we tell you all the things IT is doing to empower Mozillians in their mission to keep the web a global public resource open and accessible to all. Our first update today comes from the IT Data and Analytics team. They've completed their first milestone for revenue data integration. This makes it possible for the business development team to report on Bing data. A demo will be shown to users on October the 8th, 2019. Also on the data front, the team has also made a lot of progress using the Mozilla IAM Person API as the source of truth for user access for the new data platform. The results of that development effort will be used to drive data governance and standardize the process for access management going forward. Next up, the Global Zoom Conversion Update. Through 2 weeks, 33 of 40 existing conference rooms have been converted to Zoom rooms at the Mozilla San Francisco location. That means that 82% of rooms now give you about 45 seconds back per meeting. On average, it now takes about 10 seconds to join a Zoom call from the moment you walk into a room. What's left for the San Francisco office, 10 existing rooms, and a conversion of 8 previously phone-only rooms will move over to Zoom over the next 3 weeks. This week's Zoom tip of the week: in order to access all Zoom features on your desktop client, please ensure you've signed in via single sign-on. With that, that's the minute. I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Andrew. Next up, we have Melissa Huerta here with a Mozilla update on Mozilla's newest 29 fellows.
Hi there. Yep, I'm Melissa, a Senior Program Officer at the Foundation. Today, I'm excited to introduce the 29 newest fellows. They come from 18 countries across 6 continents. Almost 90% of them are focused on addressing the Foundation's impact goal of trustworthy AI. So that means within this space, they will address issues ranging from data governance to the use of biometrics and migration to the consequences of using AI in advertising. Some will also train network engineers to connect the unconnected and conduct PhD research toward a more open and secure Internet of Things. This group joins 8 current Mozilla Fellows. So after the project call, I'll send out an email with links to this blog as well as information on how you can connect with the fellows via Slack. And if you're at MozFest, don't forget to say hi in person. We're always looking for new ways for fellows and staff to collaborate. So please don't hesitate to reach out, and we'd be happy to put you in touch with them. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Ali Spivak here with the Emerging Technologies Update. Ali?
Thank you. It was a busy week for us in Emerging Technologies last week. We ran our 5th annual web conference, ViewSource, in Amsterdam, and it featured a lot of Mozillians. I won't read them all out because it's in the update. But we had 2 days of talks. We had live podcasts, we had audience lightning talks, and then we also had conversation areas where we covered topics like what's new in Firefox and in interoperability and web compatibility, so that the attendees could actually talk to engineers, not just from Mozilla, but also from Google, Microsoft, and other companies, and really get an understanding of what's happening on the web platform now and what we have planned for the web platform moving forward in the future. We'll have all of these talks posted within the next couple of weeks, so you can watch all of them. We also launched a brand new developer video channel on YouTube called, conveniently, Mozilla Developer. Our first 2 series covered things like Firefox DevTools and About Web, which delves into web development topics like CSS and other things. We'll continue to release videos weekly, off into the foreseeable future. And we also had WebVR to WebXR at Oculus Connect last week, which is a VR event that's very big in the industry. It was held in San Jose. Brian Paris provided a look into WebXR at a presentation. And we also talked about hubs. And that was our week last week in Emerging Technologies.
Thank you very much, Ali. Another great ViewSource conference, and these Mozilla developer videos are super, super exciting. Check them out if you haven't. Thousands of people have already subscribed to the channel. Next up is me with Asa Dotzler with your weekly Firefox update. Firefox 69.0.2 is our current stable release. This version was released on October 3rd and fixes a crash when editing files on Office 365 websites. It also fixed detection of the Windows 10 parental controls feature and whether that's been enabled or not. Firefox 70 is in the beta channel, with beta 13 going out tomorrow and beta 14 going out Friday. We have 14 betas scheduled, so we are at the end game. Next week is release candidate week. If you have something that needs to make it into Firefox 70, a big release, now would be the time to reach out to your friendly neighborhood release manager with that request. Firefox 71 is in the nightly channel. And over the last week, there have been about 380 bugs resolved as fixed, including these notable ones. First, and most obvious to anyone that's been on the nightly builds for the last week or so, the megabar pref has been enabled. So you've been seeing a new address bar implementation, which expands when you click on it, the most sort of visible feature change to the Firefox front end in a long while. Also landed, but behind an About Config pref, which is listed in the wiki page, Firefox now has Preferences UI to set a distinct search engine for private browsing windows. So if you would like to have a separate search engine for your private browsing windows, perhaps you want to change that to DuckDuckGo or some other alternative, you can make that distinct from the Firefox default search in normal Windows. Speaking of About Config, you can now double-click an About Config listing to edit its state. This is a fix to a regression when we landed the new About Config implementation. We lost that feature, and now it's back. Firefox also has now a command line option to start in kiosk mode. This is a 17-year-old bug that's been fixed by Mike Capley, so congratulations on that one. We fixed a short-lived regression which caused light and dark areas in your preferences in the add-ons manager. That lasted for about a day and then was caught and fixed. A readability backplate for high contrast mode was implemented. This is a really exciting feature for people who depend on high contrast mode to be able to read their web content. It essentially puts a block of plain color between the text and any background images, which allows us to turn background images on for high contrast mode, which makes the web much more usable and friendly. Gecko View got the capability to force enable zooming, and this should show up in Phoenix soon. This is a feature that Fennec has and that we want to see implemented in Phoenix as soon as possible. A bug causing autofill results to be read twice by screen readers was fixed. That's a nice annoyance fix. Sponsored content on the new tab page now has a Our Sponsors and Your Privacy context menu that displays a modal dialogue explaining the privacy benefits of our sponsored content implementation. And last but not least, the browser storage for HTML5 app cache has been deprecated since Firefox 44, and it is now no longer available in the nightly and early beta channels. This is the end of app cache HTML5 storage. That is the wrap on the Firefox weekly update. I'm going to reload the wiki to see if anything else has come on. I do know that we have an audible coming from Mike Hoy, who's going to talk to us about the IRC transition. Mike, take it away.
Thanks, Asa. Just a couple of notes here as we crawl through the last week of feedback that we're taking about the IRC transition and the candidates for our new project. On Wednesday, we will be closing down the test instances that we've been running for the last month. I've been grateful for everybody's feedback that we've had from there, and we've learned an awful lot. In particular, I want to express a great deal of gratitude to Jamie Tan and everybody on the accessibility team who has been kicking the tires on this stuff, just to make sure that the candidate stack that we eventually pick works for everyone. I also want to thank Kim Moyer and the developer productivity and build tooling team as well for making sure that we can build on top of this stuff in a way that will make it useful for everybody in the organization, not just as a communications tool, but as a productivity tool as well. And finally, I want to thank everybody in the Mozilla community from all over the place who've weighed in with their opinions, who've given this stuff a try. We've learned a lot from this, and I'm really grateful for everybody's involvement and for the help and support we've had in getting us this far. In particular, I want to point out that by making this an open process, by making this a product where we've been public about our feedback, we've been public about our requirements, the thing we've seen from that is that all of our candidates have raised their game. Everybody has gotten better at accessibility just in the last month. Everybody has gotten better at community management just in the last month. And so making this final decision is not going to be simple. We've seen this before, at least on a personal note, I've seen this before in the private sector with vendors being played off against each other in order to serve that company's motives, that company's bottom line. But this is the first time that I've been lucky enough to be a part of an organization that has been able to cause their vendors to make their products better for everyone, better for the world, better for the web, and better for the people in it, just by virtue of us running this process in an open, public, and participatory way. And I'm grateful to have been a part of it. Thanks again to everybody who's been involved with this, Corey Shields as well, Selena and Declan for support on the management side of things. Like I say, if you've got any feedback you want to give us about this process, any feedback you want to give us about the stacks, now's the time to get it in. We'll be shutting them off this week, and we're going to be making our decision with the help of some consultation from community members and other invested people in the organization very shortly thereafter. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike Hoy. Some exciting changes coming to our real-time communications channels. With that, we move to the final section of our meeting for the day, which is the welcome section. And today we are welcoming Tech Women Emerging Leaders. So if you would please come up to the podium. Thank you.
Okay, so today we have 4 of us who are the professional mentors out of 6, and we have our 3 emerging leaders for the Tech Women program. This is a U.S. Department of State program that brings this year 106 women from 21 different countries, mostly in Africa, the Middle East, and Central Asia. So we have with us here today Kizbek from Kyrgyzstan, Sara from Algeria, and Hanatu from Nigeria. So they're all based in the Mountain View office, and come by, they're gonna do great things.
Welcome. Thank you for the many great updates, and welcome to our Tech Women Emerging Leaders. With that, we are all wrapped up for the week. I will be, a quick meeting note, I will be away at a conference next week, and David Bryant will be taking the hosting duties for us. Thank you very much, David. And with that, we are all wrapped up. See you next week, same time, same place. Until then, keep on rocking the free web.